So I want to design a sign up page for an easy sign up page. So I'm starting with the index.html and I'll be using Bootstrap. So I'll just head straight to Bootstrap to get the link to Bootstrap. So I'm going to Bootstrap to get what I need. So I need to get to which parts? I need to get the installation. So I will just use this installation straight away. I just need this part. Title is going to be sign up page. And I'm gonna have my list down there. Okay, so let's start presenting. I want to make this a little bit smaller so that it will accommodate our view. So I need to first reduce my zoom level to be 1 and font size to be something relatively, let's do 20 and see how it goes. We'll adjust it as time goes on. So let's preview what we are seeing. And of course, you guys know I like previewing at the bottom. Okay, so we want to create our body section. That's where all the juicy stuff goes in. And the part I want to do now is I want to create a 2-column section whereby my left hand side will be where I have my form and my right hand side will be where we have my kind of background or something, just to show something there. So I will have a div container. So for the people that join our class, you will know that we have this container thing that can span to any length. So you have container, fluid, and whatever. So I'm just going to leave it this way. So for visual representation, I can do something like border so that you can see what's going on. So that it won't be boring. Border 3. So why is not showing? Okay, so that's the border, guys. Okay, so the border is showing there. I want to create a kind of space in between. So I can use padding like 4. Okay, let me do margin. Okay, so the margin will keep up and down. So that's kind of a thing. I don't want to do semantic. I don't want to do semantic styling and everything like that. I'll just go ahead and do the raw thing. So I want to focus on what happens on this right hand side and left hand side. Should I do full? Okay, let's do full, guys. Let's do full. So I will do fluid. How do you spell fluid? So I think you spell fluid this way. So what this fluid does is that I stretch it from left to right fully. Okay, now that I have fluid set up, I can do div row, div column, and I want 2 to be there. Okay, so what this does is that I want to do column. I want to maintain like ratio. We have 12 in divs, so I want to make this one 8 and this one 4. So we should have something like that. So if I say this is form and this part can then be image, so that can sit right there. Let's go ahead and start filling some information. In our form, I want to create where I can have like a logo section on the top right. So I can come here and say I have logo area, but I want this one to be moved to the right. So do we have something that floats to the right in Bootstrap? We should have something that moves stuff to the right in Bootstrap. Even though I know I can use what's it called now? So we have this one goes to the right like so. My logo stays on the right hand side. Thank you for the roses. But I want this guy to be in a padding. I need a spacer. So I need to do div class, okay, p4. So this creates this. Okay. So let's make this one H1. Sign up. Okay, so our logo sits pretty there. Then this image here is the image background. So let's start bringing in image. Let's go and look for image. So, sign up image. I need people. I need real people. Real human, I beg. I'm waiting beyond this one now. See, I need human. They give me human with computer. Okay, I think I will use this one. Better bring the image out, oh, because now so you'll go bring another image now. Okay, let me use this one. I like these guys. They're concentrating. Now I'm confused. Which one make I use now? Let me use this one. Let's do this one, guys. But this one too fat for what I want to do. I don't want something too I need something more taller. Yeah, like this man. Need something more taller. Let me use this one. Let's download this one, guys. So let's say let's use small. I don't want to down. Okay, let me just do medium or large. Let me do small. So we have this one downloaded now. So let's continue and bring it to where we need it. So here I'm gonna say BG. It's writing somewhere in the wrong place. So let's say BG. So we have our BG right there. Okay, so we are going to introduce it sooner or later, but let me have our style sheet here, because we'll end up doing some styling, obviously. So let me bring in style here, my BG is here, my preview is there, and let's bring in our new style that we just did. Okay, we don't need all this guy, and it's just sitting as assets. style.css. So let's be a little bit tidy. Nah, it's supposed to be CSS, or supposed to be assets. So we can then do this guy inside here and move this one inside here. Okay, so that we can have this one looking like this, and just to test that they are seeing themselves. Okay, they are seeing themselves. Okay, the next thing I wanted to do is to be able to set the background image here, and I can call this guy, this image part, I can give it sign up bg, and that will just be a thing. It can be an ID. So that we can have the background image. So that will be bg.jpg. Okay, so we also need to make it cover position. Nah, this is not what I'm looking for. Okay, so let's move on. This guy is supposed to, okay, this is contain. Then we have auto. Cover is more like what I wanted to do, but there are so many settings that we can do actually. I want the width to be 100%, so I can do 100% like this. Okay, I can do 100% like this, and I can do, can I do cover like that, or can I do 10% like this? Yeah, so let me say if this is 50, that's it being stretchy, then I can do 50 and do 100 like this. Okay, so okay, so let me make it cover for now. So let's continue designing what it is we're doing. The other part is I want to also make a text show on the right hand side here in my display. Here within this part, I want to make a text show. So I will do h2 and I'll call it process guy Bootstrap. Okay, so that's what I'll call it. But this guy looks so let's style it, guys. Anything under here, let's style it. Do something like this, and I focus on h2, and h2 has to be color white, and I want to also say something about the font size. Let me use something else for the font size. Okay, so I want to change the narration of what is going on. So I want to use what I did here to determine the position of what things are. And I can call this guy, actually I can call it title, so that I can have something like this. And I want to create a region where the text will be. So I can make this margin 4, so that I put all of this guy inside here. I have something like this here, so I need that space on the right hand side to just be there. Okay, but You can increase the font if you want. Do we have anything like font size? Yeah, we have font size. Okay, so we can do something like this. Let me just say Bootcamp. Okay. The next part I want to deal with is we have our sign up. Sign up is looking good. Let's start with the form. This is where we have the logo. Let me bring in the logo. Okay, so I'll rename this to logo. And have this inside here so that I can make some adjustments here and have src assets logo. Why is it not showing? We have our png. Thank you for the roses. Then you can do anything you want to do with it. You can size it from here, or you use other things to size it. So let's say 40 px. Of course, that is too ridiculously small. Yeah, we can do something like that, or you stretch it depending on what you want. Okay, so you might want to match this bootcamp alignment with this guy. So if you want to align it that way, you might look at what you did here. You did margin 4, and what you did here is padding 4. Let me do margin 4 and see my results. So you might want to do so you might want to do margin spacing on top to create. Those are things that we can work on later. Let's go ahead and create the form. Now that you have the sign up details here, I can start creating the form, and my form content will go in here where I have, how do I want to build this form now? My form will be in 2 columns where I can do another column here. This one will be div row div.co, so that this batch will contain. So let me see an easy way for me to create form. In Bootstrap. I want to see form. So we need to use Bootstrap form control to create this. So I will just pick this like so, and I have this. So this is what we're using. I need to create space in between my label there. So I can do something like this, and padding, I think py, let me see what py gives me. Yeah, py is what I need. Py gives me that space between up and bottom. So I think that's relatively okay. No, I think I need to make it 4. Yeah, so I think that's cool. Then let's go ahead and add all the things we need. So label for what? So I'm not going to use this method to do this using for. Instead, I'm going to wrap it, since it's wrapped in label. So I'm going to use this method to wrap what I want. I'm going to use this method so that I don't need to use the for stuff. So here I can then start with what I need to start putting there. I have my first name. I need to specify anything here. I'll just no need of placeholder. Okay, so if I do this, I have those ones selected. What else am I missing here? I'm missing the spacer. I want to put like a spacer here, so I can actually go and format this guy. I hope it won't mess up with things that I have. So I can do margin top just to see if it's working. Okay, it's working. So just want to do something relatively okay. So I think 10 would be nice. Yep. 10 is too far. So let's just do 8 or 7. Okay, that is space enough. Let's go ahead and implement for the rest of the guys. So I have the first name going in right there, and this one is the margin bottom. So I can do the next guy can actually be email. Let me do for the next row. The next row can then be last name. You can see that our image is coming up. So I have my last name sitting right there, but you can see that it's not stretching to 100%. We need this to stretch to 100%. Why is it not stretching to 100%? Normally form stretch to 100%. Why wasn't it stretching to 100%? Something must be wrong. So let me see if I can do form control large. Oh, it's not stretching. It's not stretching. So however, you know that everything must be inside a form. So do I have a submit button? I have a submit button. So I want to put everything inside the form first. So I can use this one to actually control all the form elements. Okay, so let me do something special. Impute how do you do this F? So if I do this, I want to target I want it to be text-based alone. So it has to be text alone that this should be target. It should not target every other kind of form control. So to do that, I will need to specify type is equal to text, and this one has to then be form control, so that I can do color red. I know your problem. I didn't tell it text. I didn't tell it type. Okay, so that fixed that. I can then go ahead and do width 100%. Okay, it's refusing to go to 100%. How noble. So what we need to do is to check why. One of the way is to do border on this guy, border 1. So we have space for it to fill in, but it's still not filling in those spaces. I need to check other guys that might be involved. Okay. Oh, this guy might be affecting it. Okay, so I've seen the issue. So the things that I refuse to do is coming to bite me. That's me not specifying that. So the label is actually supposed to, label wants to go to 100%. That's the problem. Label also wants to go to 100%. Let me see if I put label to 100%, if it will work. Label wants to go to 100%. Yeah, label wants to go to 100%. That's the problem. Okay, let me take label as 100% because I don't want to do what it's asking me to do. Let me go ahead and continue with other parameters. So we have that set, then I want to capture email. This can be email. Okay, so the distance between here and here, is it not too much? Let me see what 2 we do. I think 2 is a little bit better. So I can use 2 across board as the distance between the adjacent elements. And then I can have password at the bottom of which one? Email, I can have password here. And also, I think this will cause issue later. Yeah, I think I should make each of them have, I think I should change the approach I'm doing here. So the approach should be different actually. I think I should manage each of the row individually. So what that means is that this row now should end here. I think I should manage each row. So this one that has the class name, then the last name should just go there as it is. I think it should be handled this way. So this one that has this one, okay, we are lost. So we are lost. So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make sure that each row should be managed in the same side. So each row should be managed in the same side. So I will just copy this one. This is what I need. And then restart the whole thing again. So this should be in a row. Okay, so the next one should also be in that same row. So this is how it should be. Last name. So that the next line will also be a row. That way, if the screen is minimized, it won't look weird. So this row is done. So this is the first row that we have. That gives us this one. So we'll move on to the second row. And the second row should cover email and gender. Type email. And this one covers gender type. And that's using radio. We need to use input group. No, not input group. We need to use, check and radio. We need to use radio. But our radio has to be inline radio that we're using. We have to use radio. So I have a template. I just want to copy and paste. So all this is going to go out and it's going to be replaced by what I put in here. So I'm missing out the general label, but I'm going to put in the general label anyway. So the general label is going to be here. and it's going to say gender, right? So that we can then have each of the gender. We have a male, we have female, and then we have others. So I'm going to remove the disability for this one, and we should be able to pick those things right there. Okay, the gender is a little bit not aligned, but I'm not too worried. It's not that bad. But if it's really a thing, you can actually do it manually. You can actually adjust it manually from this place. You can use this one to push it down. So if you do margin bottom 1, 2, 3, so that's what I just push it down a little bit. So it's now looking in line, even though it's still, yeah, it's manageable this way, at least. So then we now have the next one, which is on the bottom. So I can minimize all these guys and minimize all these guys and use these templates to copy the next line of action. So the next line of action is password and confirm password. So I'll call this confirm password, while this one will be, yep, so this will just be password. Then I'll copy the same thing I did here to M2 here, but I'll call this one password. Why are you complaining? Okay, so we now I've done. Okay, so I have this part working. The next section is entry level. So I'll copy the same thing I have here, even though I'm showing you something different underneath. I'll copy what I have there. For me to be able to add the entry level, I want to add an entry level to what it is that we're doing. I want to have entry level here, and on the right hand side I will also be having a different option here and entry level here. So I'm going to come to the bottom here and minimize everything. Sometimes you need to be minimizing all these things so that you can have a clear view of what you are doing, because it can easily get crowded. It can easily get crowded and confusing very fast. So learn to minimize your code this way so that you can focus on what it is you are doing at the moment. So this is the syntax for doing row and column. So you have a class and then you have a row. So this is the first line of action that you do. In the role, you have a column. The column contains the item you want to have. You can see this is a column, this is a column. So this row just defines that the entire part will be taken on a row. So we want to put our first column, you put your div class, and then you put column col, right? And then you put, I would say, entry 1. So if you write entry 1 there, you have your entry 1 on the bottom. This entry 1 takes over everything until you introduce the next column. So if I duplicate this and I have the next column here, entry 2, notice what it does. It gives me what? My full details, entry 1 and entry 2. That's how we're able to divide it. So you can put your HTML tag here that denotes your select box, which I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to create our select box here. I'm going to use, I want to see if I have any templates here that I can just pick from. So I'm just picking from Bootstrap templates. So I just pick this, and it's pretty simple to do. Just go ahead and just write label. So let me just do it manually. Label, class, label. What's the name of even the label self? Let me check the class. Form label. So we have form label. You know what label is used for now. So we specify this is called, let me check the name of what this one is called in the label. So this is called educational level. So that's just to have a label down there. The next thing we want to put is that you should be able to now have, so I want to put it inside so that I can click on the level. It will now select the option. That's why I'm putting it inside the tag, inside this tag. That's the reason why I'm putting it inside the label tag. That's another option. So you do your select. You should know how to use your select. You have your option to pick the number of values that you want. So for starters, I'll just put dash. I don't want to do anything special inside the option, but you can put all your options that somebody should be able to select inside there. So, well, we can just say level higher education, and I'll just say others, just to have options. Then you can then say select here, maybe just do dash dash and then select, just to select a default something. And because you are using Bootstrap, you want to select, you want to make it nice to look at, so you use form control. So you can then see automatically it has that effect, you know, that you should want to see. So I'm going to duplicate what I've just done here on the next patch, which is copying from the label, and I put it here, and that gives me the same effect there. So if you look at this now, this is giving you something similar. We're almost done. And the last part is for us to have tell us about yourself section. So I'm going to go down here, and at the end, even though you don't need to put it in a role, you can, but I will just put it right there. And the next tag is called text area. So text area allows you to do something like this. So the text area also have a label. It also has a label. So I will just do label. My class is, I think it's called form label or label form. I can't remember now. Let me check again. So it's called form label. Okay, we're correct. Form label. Remember, this is going to be inside here. Then give it a name. So what's the name that I want to call this? This should say tell us about yourself. Okay, then if you go and check it, we have some weird reaction because we're not done styling our text. So this should be form control. So when you have form control, you have these results coming up like this. Finally, you need to provide some form of button to create an account, and that will be handled at the bottom. Yeah, stay here. So if you want to create, this is a time for you to say, okay, you want to create some, you can see that the distance between here and here is too tight. It's tightly packed. And that's because we didn't introduce the normal space we normally introduce. So there's a way I normally introduce a space. This is here. That's mobile. What's this called now? Margin bottom 2. That's what we did there. So you can also introduce that to here. You can introduce it to this part here. Or you can just introduce it to the top. Margin bottom. Instead of bottom, you can say top. So it will create the top space. And I also want to create the bottom space so that the button can just go and sit on its own. Let's go ahead and create the button. Okay, so to do it without Bootstrap, just HTML and CSS styling, how do we do that? Okay, let me finish it with CSS, and I'm going to do it without CSS. So this is on you. I will come and tax you for this one where they ask me now. I go tax you. Me and you, we know where we go meet. Jay, this is on you. So let me finish it with this, then I'll do it without CSS. Right? Let's go ahead quickly. Okay, so I mean, I'll do it with Bootstrap, then I'll finish it without, I'll do it without Bootstrap so that you can see the two different things. So the next thing I want to do is to put, what do I want to do, Seth? Yeah, I want to do this one, our button. So I'll go ahead and create button. Of course, you want to use submit, input, type, submit, then you want to use class, btn button. Is it btn button? Oh, it's called primary. Okay, so we have our button right there, but we don't want it to show right. We want to take it to the right. Right looks more natural. So you can use the same method we use here to move stuff to the right, which is using flex, and then using ms, which is to start at the end. So I'll come in here like this and do this and put this here, and we have our button to the left. So we want to create more space here. This is too close together, and we can use this one to actually enforce more space. So we have something like this, guys. So I will just say create account here. So our value should then be called create account, so that we can then, we're not done. I want to do some styling at the edges. There are some style edge I want to do here. Bootstrap allows you to do some crazy stuff, so I want to do some crazy stuff right now. And I wish I can zoom so that you guys can see what I'm trying to do, but I think, yeah, I can zoom. Let me zoom that so that you guys can see. So I want to do something, even though you not see the code I'm doing, but it will be of interest for you to see what is happening. Let me go ahead and do what I wanted to do. So in the class, I can actually do radius. I think it's called radius. Let me check what that is called. That's border radius utility. So it's called rounded. There's different rounded parts. So I can do rounded 5. You can see that what is turning into. You can see that I can specify the exactly where I want it to round. So I can also round, let's say, I want to round top. So let me show you. Okay, you guys are seeing the result already, but I think I'm only limited to this kind of feature. So if I can round left, I can round top and bottom. So this is the only weird results I can get. The other ones I might need to be able to, okay, I think I should be able to do stats. So start, can I do bottom as well? Okay. Okay, so I can do bottom and start. Then can I do, this is bottom and start. So can I do bottom and end? Okay, so that will be left for customization. So I will stop at this place. Let me stop here. Let me stop here. That will be left for customization to customize.